This video will step you through how to make a graph using your personal budget spreadsheet. So if you go down under your annual amount, the column that says annual, down to the expenses, start by highlighting those values, whatever you have in there, and this will give us the data to make our pie chart. So we highlight those numbers, we go to our chart tool, or our graph button on the property bar. So it says create a chart on the notebook sheet. I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to just go below my spreadsheet a little bit, and I'll make a rectangle in here. It'll put the data, the chart will be created in this area. I'm having a little trouble with my mouse. There we go. So you just make a rectangle, and it's going to pop that in here. Now, as we're creating things, they are going to be accessible buttons on the right mouse click. So right now I'm just going to right mouse click. Notice that my handles, these are those little black squares, are on the outside one. And I'm going to go to source data. So really it's already created the values for my Y range. That's what makes the shapes of the pie, or the slices of the pie. I want to have an X-axis label. And I click on this, and it's going to pop me into my spreadsheet to put in the titles. So that would be my expenses, the titles that I have. So mortgage down to car. And in order for me to go back, if up at the top here, you'll see that there is a source data window that's been minimized. We're going to maximize that, and we'll click OK. And you might be wondering what has happened. It looks like nothing has changed, but it's going to be there for a little bit later on. Just click inside your box. So now you'll notice your handles are inside the other rectangle that's there, the inner rectangle. We'll right click and go to Gallery. And if you don't already have a pie chart, this is where you're going to click on Pie. Some of you may have a bar chart by default. And once you have that, you can click on OK, just to make sure that in case it's not a pie chart automatically. And now we're going to title our graph and things along that line. So we're going to right click again and go to titles. And in order to access the main title, we're going to click on the button, and now we can type in a main title. So this would be a budget project. My subtitle should be my name, so this way your teacher can identify who you are. So place your name here. And click OK, and it'll put your titles in. You'll notice that they're really big, especially where it's your name. So there's a couple of ways to change it. You can click on it, and then you're going to right click on it. Chart subtitle properties. And you can change the font size. So, I don't know, I'm going to try 7. You can see the preview looks pretty good. I'll click on OK. Maybe it's a little bit too crowded. You may want to change the budget project. You can also drag your values around, so you can make them smaller, you can move them. I'm going to do the same thing with the title. So I'm going to chart title properties, and I'm going to just change that a little bit, make it a little smaller. Then it's not so crowded. So 11 font. It just makes it a little bit neater. The next thing that we want to be able to do is to make some changes to your pie slices and how things look. So I'm going to look at my, the biggest one, the yellow one is what I'm going to click on. That's my pie slices now selected. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to series properties, I believe. And here when I display, I want to display my values outside of the slices so it's easier to see. The leader lines are just so that especially if those that are crowded together. There's a little line that will go to your piece of pie. You can kind of see it right here, so you can identify which piece is being done. I would like to display these as percentages, the raw values you have in your spreadsheet, but the percentage gives us an idea of how much you're looking at. And I also would like to have the value and a legend label. Now what that does, we've already set our legend label so that we know which one's mortgage, which one is groceries, which one's your student loan, etc. Type option allows me to do a couple of things. I can detach a slice. So because I have the yellow slice selected right now, when I change that, it can explode the slice. You can see a preview over here on the left. So maybe that's the one thing I'm not sharing with somebody. It might be kind of nice to segregate it. All right, so that's an option. I'll just put it back. I could explode all the pieces of the pie a little bit. There's an option. You don't want them too spread out, because now you don't really have a good picture of what it is. You want to see it as a whole. You may want to tilt the pie a little bit, but you want to be able to see what it was like. So I wouldn't do too much of that. Your pie depth is making bigger chunks. Again, you can play around with this to get to one that you really like. And that's all up to you. That's just style. I'm actually going to detach that slice a slight amount. And then click OK when you've made your changes. Now you notice that student loans easy to read, groceries are easy to read, and so on. The others aren't so easy to read because they're jumbled together. So we want those a little bit smaller in font. So what you can do, excuse me, is to go to click on it like you've done up above, and we're going to try selecting more than one at a time. And I'm holding down my control key as I do this, and I'm just giving it a try. And then when I right click, I have text properties. I'm hoping it's going to change all the text at one time for me. So they're currently at a 12. I would take them down to at least an 8. Probably even less. But let's look at what the 8 is. So that I can read them. If I need to spread them out, you can just take them and drag them. Okay. So that type of thing. Notice I missed one right there. So I can do multiple ones at a time. So that just gives you an idea of how to go about setting it up. A lot of it's going to be stylistic. It's what looks good for you, what you think looks nice. It's going to make them all slightly different. When you go to print it, you just need to select your box. So what I've done is I clicked out in the colored area, and I'll just click on the box. And when I go to the print tool, it's going to be wanting to print this. You could try it as it is. There's a page setup, so I'm thinking this is allowing you to change it so that you are landscape or portrait. Landscape is going to do it out on the full size, kind of more like what it's looking like, and then you just click OK to print. Hopefully this has given you a good idea of how to set up your pie chart and how to make some changes to it so that it looks really good when you go to pass it in. Thank you.